What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pride of Villa. It's Ben here, and we are back with another Villa Roundup. This one, we're going to be focusing purely on the football on the pitch. We're going to be talking about the Bournemouth game, giving you my thoughts and reactions towards that 1-1 draw at Vitality Stadium. And then we're also going to be looking towards the Brighton game, and just overall reflecting upon the next few games for Aston Villa, as it comes a busy schedule for the Claret Blue Army. So if you are going to enjoy this video, guys, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. You can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok or Twitter using the features below. Without further ado, let's get it started. Right then, I hope we're all doing well. I hope it's a lovely day for you guys. I'm recording this on a Tuesday the 10th of February. So as of recording, obviously, we are 24 hours away from Aston Villa's home game against Brighton in the Premier League. And the start of a very busy period for Aston Villa. I mean, we're already in amongst it. But looking at the games coming up ahead, you know, it's going to be very, very busy. But anyway, I thought we'd just firstly talk about the Bournemouth game on the weekend. It was Bournemouth 1, Aston Villa 1. I didn't get to watch a lot of it, just purely because, once again, I was out. I was in Leamington Spa this weekend. Nice, fancy place. Lovely game studios there, and just a lovely bunch of shops if you ever do want to go to Leamington Spa. I wouldn't say spend the whole day there, because there isn't a lot to do, but it's just a nice place. It's just a nice place. But yes, Bournemouth 1, Aston Villa 1. A game that everybody was viewing as a must-win for Aston Villa's title aspirations and also top four hopes. And ultimately, Villa did not win it. Villa would ultimately come out with a draw. I was saying in my match preview that Aston Villa are unbeaten in their last 6 games against Bournemouth, whilst Villa also have a sizable winning advantage against Bournemouth in their Premier League fixtures in the last 16, I wanted to say, 12-16. And then Villa would ultimately come out of this game with a draw, which is incredibly disappointing. Look, I'm under no pretense here that Bournemouth are a good team. They were clearly in and amongst it last season, ultimately missing out on those European spots. And ultimately with this season, how they've been going sort of towards the middle and end of the table. It's just very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Bear in mind, Aston Villa, you know, we've come off of 2 disappointing home league defeats against Everton and Brentford. Obviously, I'll mention it when we talk about Brighton, but if we lose against Brighton, we become the first team in the Premier League to lose 3 home games following an 8-game or more winning run, which in the grand scheme of things is like a nothing record because no one's ever going to remember it, but it's a fascinating thing for Villa Park Fortress to now see it crumble. So we're going into this Bournemouth game thinking that it's got to be a must-win. We know that Manchester United, you know, 3-3 since Michael Carrick's come in. Obviously, it's now 4-4. Chelsea, you know, starting to find some consistency in their results again. We know Liverpool are starting to in and amongst it, although obviously they would lose to Manchester City at home. Manchester City winning as well, so they're getting away from us now. So it's kind of looking like, you know, we're going to be fighting out for 3rd place there. And Villa just didn't take advantage of the opportunity. You know, it starts off well in the first 22 minutes with Morgan Rogers' great goal. You know, some brilliant link-up play between him and Jadon Sancho, and you think that's what we need, a little bit of quality early on in the game as well. You know, can Villa go on the front foot and press out? And for that first half, then yes, we were showing a little bit of creativity going on. But then we get into the second half, we just seem a lot more laboured, a lot more tired. And then obviously the goal, I don't really want to keep talking about it because it's just so painful, but Luca Dean, with one of the worst defensive outputs I've ever seen in my life. I don't understand what he thinks he's doing. I saw people saying it was criticism on Mings, but bear in mind, it's Digne's man, so Mings is not even probably expecting him. He's still got to cover the centre of the pitch. Because, you know, you've still got, you know, the rest of Bournemouth's front line to deal with. So he's out there, and he's thinking that Luca Dean's got him because he's a wide player. And if you watch the clip, you know, Mings makes the effort at the last minute because he realises Luca Dean's just doing absolute bugger all. But it does go in near post finish. Again, it's right high into the top corner. But it's incredibly disappointing to see that. And ultimately, we're almost clinging on. If it wasn't for Emi Martinez that day, you know, who knows what the result could have been. I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, if this is really a team that wants top 4, they're not really showing it at the moment. And it's been like it for a while. Although I must also say, it does seem, in my opinion, to be like something that Villa do like to do. This lack of effort, this lack of desire sometimes in winning these games. when it can mean so much. And it's one of these games where, again, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the worst point in the world away from home to Bournemouth, because Bournemouth are a good team at home. They're a solid team, and we do often find ourselves having difficult games against them. But given the Bournemouth of last season, the last 2 seasons, I just think it's an opportunity widely missed. You know, statistically, 53% possession to R47, so it's evenly contested even on the Monday for 2 teams that do like the possessive heavy football. We had an expected goal of 0.4 to Bournemouth's 2. Total shots 20 as opposed to our 7. 3 big chances to them and 1 for us. You know, it's crazy. That's domination of a game on all attacking fronts. And I just think it's a combination of stuff. You know, you can just see the players look a bit leggy. Yeah, which is fair enough. We just, you know, we don't have that squad to compete on the forefront, unfortunately. But then it's also on substitutions and just the overall game plan from Unai Emery. You're bringing on Tammy Abraham with 5 minutes to go. Bear in mind, you wanted this guy for the last 2 or 3 years. And we've been crying out for a backup number 9, out and out number 9. So to see that, it's flummoxing. We're bringing on Ian Matson and Bogard, which aren't really attacking forwards. Onana potentially going down again with another injury, which is ridiculous to see. Yeah, it's just massively mind-boggling. Just so disappointing. Again, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the worst point in the world. It just could have been one that could have been easily developed by Aston Villa. But yeah, my thoughts on that game. Disappointing. We still remain in 3rd place with a 3-point advantage over Manchester United and Chelsea. But if we want to stay in that position, we need to do a little bit more. And ultimately, with these next 2 games running up for Aston Villa, in fact, 3 games running up for Aston Villa, Brighton, Leeds and Wolverhampton Wanderers, these are the games that are going to massively matter to Aston Villa if they want to be in the Champions League next season. So with that in mind then, let's look forward to Brighton then at home. Once again, Villa's last run of form, 2 losses in 7 at home. 2 wins in 8, I think it is now for Aston Villa. A little bit disappointing there. Obviously, Brighton haven't actually won an away game since November 30th, 2025 against Nottingham Forest. 1 win in their last 12 games. So it's 2 teams here that are kind of a little bit inconsistent on their form at the moment. But and I can't stress this enough again from Aston Villa. This is an opportunity that needs to be taken. Again, you know, 3-point gap over Manchester United, who don't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. We know that Manchester City are going for the title, and with that win over Liverpool, it kind of, for me, puts an affirmation in that 2nd place is gone now. We shouldn't really be focusing on the title because we're clearly showing we're not quality or consistent enough to even go for the title. We need to be focused on being consistent for the top 4 because ultimately that's what we need. That's what we want for revenue sake, for PSR sake, for, you know, just general commerciality and marketing of the club. We need Champions League football. And I just think if we're not going to beat Brighton, bear in mind we're coming up to Leeds United at home next, which, you know, for as good as Leeds can be this season, you know, we tend to do a lot better with them at home rather than playing at Ellen Road. You know, we already dispatched them away from home. And then Wolverhampton Wanderers bottom of the table. And then it's Manchester United and Chelsea following that. So I'm thinking if we're not going to beat these next 3 teams, where is this win going to come from? Because I just don't see us going to Old Trafford and winning. And I don't really see us doing it against Chelsea at the moment. So it's vitally important that these games are won here. Obviously, Aston Villa will want to be on the front foot for this one. We're going to be wanting to, you know, we need to be attacking football. We need to see a bit more aggression in our play. And substitution-wise, I think this comes down to Unai Emery, really. He needs to be braver in his substitutions. I don't want to see Tammy Abraham have 5 minutes in a game to try and win this game. Give him 30 minutes, 35 minutes, even 45 minutes. That's the whole point of having these bench players, is that you can rotate. He's going to have to show some rotation anyway, given the game we've got against Newcastle United, although you could argue, given that's just a one-off game, you can focus more on your rotation, putting out a weaker squad there. Or you can go for this one and then put full force into that FA Cup game. It'll be interesting to see what he does. But I just want to see some better substitutions and management of the game from Unai Emery. You know, when it's going down for us, I don't want to see Bogard coming in to play midfield because he's not creatively output of going forward. You know, Ian Matson I want to be starting tonight just because of that mistake against Bournemouth. I don't want to see Luca Dean playing tonight. It's rewarding failure, and it is a failure of that set piece. I can't stress it enough how much I want Villa to win. Yeah. Fabian Herzog as well. He's already under pressure. He's going to be wanting to go all at it. He might throw the dice at it so he can maintain his job with Brighton. Like I said, 1 win in 12, and they've recently just lost at home to Crystal Palace in that derby. Take advantage of the opportunity and we can go and get the 3 points. I said in my preview I went for 3-1, and I'm probably going to revise that to 1-0. It's like, I just don't really care how Aston Villa do it, in my opinion. I'd feel more confident towards the Leeds and Wolverhampton Wanderers. But I just want Villa to put out a dominant display. I want Villa to see some rotation within that back line as well. I just want to see a win, man. I just want to see a win. Get Villa Park back on that winning fortress. A win lifts up everybody's moods. It lifts up the players, the fans, the manager. It gets everybody in the mood for it. Let's go for a win, and let's go and see if Aston Villa can show their mettle against Brighton. Okay, then, so with that in mind, I'm going to wrap up the video there. Probably rambled on about absolutely nothing, but hey ho. If you did enjoy this video, guys, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Once again, you can follow us on TikTok there, where we talk a little bit more sense. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter for any live news updates. Obviously, we will see you for the Brighton game at home. We follow that on with Crystal Palace. You can tell them. Newcastle United at home in the FA Cup. We will then see you for Leeds United and Wolverhampton Wanderers in the next coming weeks. But like I said, for Aston Villa, just get the win against Brighton. Let's get ourselves on some minimum momentum, and then we'll worry about the FA Cup game against Newcastle. But yeah, go follow us on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter there. We'll see you for that game. But until then, up the Villa with the pride of Villa. We'll see you later, boys.